Okay, so you guys are about to release your, would this be your second album?
Yeah, second album. Yeah.
Desecrator, coming out in October. What are you most excited about with this release?
Well, I'm excited about how the fans will like um, how they will see the improvement or the seed that we planted in Firestorm. How this will evolve into something a little bit more. I wouldn't say complex, but I would say a little bit further. Um, we are seeking a deeper into the music, I would say. So that will be the main point of interest for me, at least, to see how the audience can handle this album in that respect. Yeah.
Excellent. I've had a bit of an advanced listen to it, and dude, there's some pretty cool stuff on there, man.
Ah, thanks, thanks a lot. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
great.
yeah, well, I do. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love what your singing is. Absolutely. I mean, it's spot on. I mean, from what I understand, you guys, when you came together, a lot of it was trying to it was born from frustration of the quality of people trying to put out, I guess, old school metal.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, nowadays there's a lot of good new bands like underground heavy metal, but we thought that at least where we came from, a lot of people listen to like the modern stuff and defined heavy metal as something that it is not in our opinion. So we wanted to like give it a fresh new start. This heavy metal culture. It's really good to be a part of it right now.
Well, that's right, and you guys, I mean, there's a lot of energy that comes out of the music that you guys are creating, and a lot of that is what metal is about. And being that expression of, all the energy of being a teenager and all the rebellious parts and all that sort of carry on.
Yeah,
So I mean, it definitely comes through in the music, and um, I think what you're saying with modern metal and everything, we're losing some of that.
yeah, I think so. The new productions of like commercial music. I mean, I don't have a problem with people listening to all kinds of music, but for me, heavy metal is more, or for us as a band, heavy metal is more. It's about a rough uh, feeling or atmosphere to it that a lot of the new commercial productions cannot live up to. Uh, which I like that like atmosphere in a lot of bands uh, in the underground heavy metal scene, but they they won't make it into the commercial state just because of that. It's a barrier, but it's more important to keep a rough feeling and have that atmosphere than to turn into yeah, what the music industry is today, basically. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So what is your take on the whole modern metal thing? Because I mean, like, naturally, from what we get from your music, you guys are more bent to the old school. Um, how do you perceive, what is out there at the moment? I mean, because there is so much variety now, and so many bands.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get your question.
Well, sort of basically your take on how do you feel the state of modern metal is?
How the state is? Okay, I mean, would you say, would you are you asking for me to make have an opinion about modern metal bands, or?
Yeah, basically your take on how the modern scene is, because I mean, like, naturally, because you guys play an older style and an old school sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, the new metal is quite different, and the whole scene is quite different. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's great. Uh, I think it's great that there's some bands that don't follow the trend, and it's good that we have a label, High Roller Records, who always tend to sign great bands with the attitude that I think is needed to create good heavy metal. Um, while the music scene overall, I mean, the metal scene is turning towards more towards pop or rap, I would say. So it's good to have a little break. I mean, a little rebel scene around us right now that are enjoying the traditional stuff. Yeah.
Well, definitely. No, I think there was also, like you said, there is a bit of a swing back to the old school. We were real lucky in New Zealand here at the start of the year. We had a music festival, sort of a metal festival, if you call, that we had Judas Priest here, and a lot of people were going to the show thinking, oh well, hey, it's old Judas Priest. We're not ready. There was bands like Fear Factory and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people were quite blown away by Judas Priest, and it sort of gave them an idea of what old school metal really was about.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Judas Priest at Wacken this summer, and I was blown away too. I mean, completely mad how Rob managed to sing that. Um, I mean, he's like, how old is he? He's like 65 or something, 66. And he can sing like 20-year-old. It's amazing. And Judas Priest has done so much for the heavy metal scene. I mean, they are the founding fathers of heavy metal. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think they are the biggest inspiration to us as a band.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, because I mean, I think that definitely comes through in your style of singing, plus the band as well. And I mean, I'm a huge Judas Priest fan myself, and so and that was one of the things I really loved about your singing and everything, was the fact that there was still the, dare I call it, the squeals and everything. There was the screams, there was the you know. Some people, and I know this will sound horrible, but some people, would say, "Oh, that's a girl thing or something." But dude, loved it. I thought it was, that was probably one of the highlights when I first heard that first song from the new album. It was like, holy hell, that is so friggin' cool, because not many people are doing that anymore.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, dude, it was just because there are still a lot of fans of the old school metal, and I guess that's the thing, as you grow older, and I'm growing older now, metal doesn't die within you. You're a metalhead for life.
Yeah, it's always alive until we die.
Do right, mate. That's fact. It's
Yeah,
unlike any other genre. You don't grow out of it. I mean, like you see, like people that get into rap and hip hop and all that sort of stuff. As they get older, they start getting into
exactly.
rhythm and blues and all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah, you can't depend
um,
on bling bling and hose and that shit forever. But
Exactly, mate. But
heavy metal is always there, and of course you can. I mean, you can grow older, and you can, but you would never like cut your hair.
oh, I agree 100%. I'm now 41 and I've still got long hair, so it's not going to happen, eh? Still got a goatee, all that sort of stuff. Still wear all my black t-shirts.
Fantastic. I
Oh,
mean,
dude,
New Zealand. I would love to go to New Zealand. Actually, I mean, I've met a lot of nice people from New Zealand here in Sweden. I mean, metalheads. Uh, I think you have a good scene over there too. Am I right?
Yeah, we do have a pretty good scene. It sort of goes through ebbs and flows. There's a really cool band that does the old school stuff called Razor Wire,
Yeah.
and they sort of do the old school thing here in New Zealand. There's it's a weird scene, eh? Because the country, although it's quite small, it's quite spread out. So there's different scenes for different towns, but we've still got quite a vibrant scene. We're pretty lucky, and
Yeah.
it sort of goes in cycles. Like this year, we've had a really good year for bands coming. Like we've got Judas Priest, we've had Judas Priest, we've got Black Sabbath coming early next year, and things like that. It sort of helps invigorate the scene a bit. So it comes and goes.
Yeah. I mean, having Black Sabbath and Judas Priest coming to New Zealand must be great. I mean,
Oh, dude, it's absolutely brilliant, and I can't tell you how excited I was with Judas Priest. I mean, I'd waited a very long time to see them because that was their first time they'd come to New Zealand. And, dude, I mean, I just about cried. It was an amazing moment. And just the energy. I mean, like you say, for his age, Rob is just absolutely amazing. And what I really loved was Richie Faulkner's energy as well. I mean, he really got the crowd going,
yeah, he's
and
good.
it was a full-on band performance that was true metal, and that was something that excited me, and I just I mean, like there was a lot of other bands on during the day. We had like Lamb of God and Fear Factory and stuff like that, and it just didn't do the. I mean, they were good. Don't get me wrong, but it was Judas Priest, man.
Yeah. The one and only one.
Well, that was it. The metal god.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it was very cool. So, we talked briefly about the influence of Judas Priest. What other bands would you cite as some of the influences for the band?
I mean, for the band, I'm a big fan of Merciful Fate and King Diamond, but yeah, I mean, some of the high pitch screams that I that I try to do. I mean, a lot of them I would dedicate to King Diamond, but he has a different vocal technique, of course. But I love high screams because of what King Diamond has done, and I love Accept, of course, Saxon. I love basically every 80s metal. Heavy Load, if you heard about them, old Swedish band, like the founding fathers of the Swedish heavy metal scene. They are really great. But we listen to a lot of different heavy metal bands. Of course, Riot, great band. The main influence, I would say, would be Judas Priest and Accept, even though we try to create an own sound, if you understand. But the foundation is there in Judas Priest and Accept, I would say, in Saxon maybe main influence.
Well, I guess the awesome thing about that is that all those bands are still going. Um, I
Yeah,
mean, like both of them have just put out, both Judas Priest and Accept have both put out new albums in the last year,
yeah,
and they're both going extremely strong. Um, uh, that's it, and I mean, even if you look back to Accept's history and you look at Udo, Udo's still going, doing his own thing in that. So,
he's great.
um, well,
Still
that's it.
great.
I was always a big fan of Udo myself, and it's really cool to see that both Udo and Accept are still going. I was really
Yeah,
lucky, and I talked to a Wolf last year, and I mean, these guys have still got the spirit of heavy metal in them, and that's the beauty of it.
yeah. I mean, I like Accept new albums, but they're a little bit different, I would say. I like them, but still prefer the old early 80s stuff. But yeah, they have the spirit still. I mean, Wolf is a great guitarist, and he has
Well,
the
that's
spirit.
it, but balls to the walls, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great one.
That album had there was something about it that was it had that essence, and it's still that sort of stuff still excites me, and I guess that's what I enjoyed about your guys about your band is that you do have a lot of that essence there and bringing back that the spirit of 80s metal.
Yeah, at least I mean it comes natural. I mean for us being friends and I mean drinking beer together almost every weekend and playing music at the same time. I mean the mentality is already there from the beginning, if you know what I mean. I mean it's really easy to portray yourself as um, a seeker of I mean, a little closed society. I mean, even though
Yeah.
we have many friends outside of the heavy metal sphere, I mean, we have a little closed society that is like a family. I mean, it's great, really great.
Well, I guess that's another part of the whole heavy metal culture is there is a certain kind of brotherhood there, um, and that's it. I mean, across countries, across the whole globe, you can interact with other metalheads,
Yeah,
and you have that same bonding. Um, that's one of the things I really enjoy about what I do is that every metalhead I come across that I talk to, we have the same connection.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can make friends from all around the world just by naming a few bands. I mean, and talk about them. And I met a lot of guys from Chile that I became really close friends with. Uh, but we actually only met once in real life. But yeah, we talk on the internet, and they share a lot of bands from the Chilean scene, and I share a couple of bands from the Swedish scene. But they know all bands from the Swedish scene already, so I don't have much to.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's global metal, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There are a lot of maniacs out there that knows everything about the smallest, tiniest band no one has ever heard of in Sweden, and they know it. And
Oh,
uh,
dude, that's
it's
fantastic.
fucking great. Yeah.
Oh no, that's absolutely brilliant. Oh, so I've got two more questions for you
Yeah,
before we go because I'm starting to run out of time.
yeah, yeah.
First off, what any chance of you guys getting out to New Zealand, Australia on this tour cycle?
You should never say never, but yeah, we focus on a European tour uh,
Yep.
this spring, and we'll see how well the album goes. I mean, if people like it, maybe. we can go outside of Europe, but uh, yeah, not this spring at least. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe in the future. Hopefully, I would love to go to New Zealand. It's one of my dream vacation destinations. I mean,
Well,
fucking
I
would
can
be.
tell you that we'd love to have you down under. So if you ever think, don't think too much about it. Just feel free to waltz on down. Um,
Yeah,
the
fucking
second,
order the tickets tomorrow, man.
good on you, bud. And one other question for you, and that would be words of advice for young musicians.
For young heavy metal musicians
Yeah.
or just young. Okay, I mean it takes practice. Of course, no one is an expert at instrument or singing from the beginning. Uh, so gather a group of friends that have some kind of musical interest and just jam around and maybe don't drink a couple of beers if you're too young. But yeah, at least socialize and around music and listen to a lot of good vinyls to get inspiration and fucking destroy everything you see.
That's awesome, mate. Hey, I really appreciate your time today, Oscar. Brilliant to talk to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. And hopefully we'll get you down under sometime. I mean, it'll be absolutely brilliant. I mean, but I do understand the logistics of it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to come.